Scorpio, it's Gregory Scott here to do your astrology forecast for October 2015. It's really nice to be with you. Thanks for joining me. A couple of things happening that are significant here, and they start on the 30th of September. Two things which move into October and will have a big impact. The first one is that Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, starts to square your sun, so your identity, your ego. And it does that until the 12th of October, so pretty much, half of the month, pretty much. And your sun's in your 12th in Libra, and your Pluto is in Capricorn in your 3rd. And what that means is that you're really going to find and discover a new way of communicating as a result of a more enlightened outlook and approach. So you will feel much more interested in other people and much less self-interested. And I think you'll really be in a position to help other people. So you're becoming an altruist, Scorpio. You're really going to be interested in the well-being of others. Also on that day, the 30th, Pluto starts to square Uranus, and it does that for much longer than this other square. It does that until the 13th of May, I think it is. Yes, 13th of May 2016, so 9 months. And what this does is it furthers that different way of communication, and it creates real energy and a drive forward in terms of your daily routine, okay? So don't just think that if you find a new way of expressing things, a new way of expressing yourself in a more holistic, in a more considerate way, that's just nice. It is nice, but it also really energizes and it really drives forward the way your life looks. So by making changes, things change. And I know that sounds obvious, but why you wouldn't usually connect the way you speak and the way you communicate and the way you treat other people with a direct impact on your life. And what I'm saying is that over the next 9 months, you're going to find a new way of expressing yourself in a practical way, and that will have a change in your daily life. So it could be that you write a book for the first time and that book is a success, and as a result of that, your daily life changes. It could be that you start to talk to people differently, that you stop swearing, for instance. You just decide to do that. And because of that, people are more attracted to you and don't cringe every time you say the F word. It could be anything like that. It can look different ways, but that's the general gist. Now, on the 1st of the month, Jupiter and Mars sit in your first house, not in your first, in your 11th house rather, in Virgo, and your midheaven is there as well. There's a real drive and a luck factor in terms of you achieving your hopes and dreams in your work. And there's real scope for you to achieve that on the 1st of October because there's a lot of elements that are in Earth, and if you take practical action around the first to make something a reality that you've dreamt of for a while, there's a good chance that you can make it happen. On the 3rd, Chiron starts to square the moon, and Chiron is the part of the chart that's often very difficult and that needs transformation, and that's in your 5th house of romance and relationship. And I really think that on this day someone says something that's really nice and it kind of makes you feel good and it kind of restores your faith in humanity a little bit. If you've been feeling down, or if you feel like you've lost hope in that people love you or that they can be kind or whatever that is, I think someone will reach out to you in a very simple way, whether they smile at you or whether they just say something nice. It really makes an impact on you on the 3rd of October and really makes you feel better. Changes your outlook. The moon squares your sun, your Mercury and your north node of the moon on the 4th of October, and this really creates an opening in terms of you start to understand something, or you start to study something, or you start to have an offer to learn something which would help you to take care of other people in some way. Whether that's a cooking course, or whether you learn how to heal people, or something like that, there's an opportunity for you to fulfill your purpose, which is to help others through healing. So some people are more inclined to that than others, but we all heal, whether we hug someone when they're crying, or whether we cook food, or whether we're an estate agent and we find people homes to live in, or a nurse, or whatever. There's 100 million different ways of healing each other, and something becomes apparent to you that if you're interested in finding that purpose for yourself, it's available on the 4th. On the 5th, there is a T-square, an area of real motivation between your Pluto and your Moon, and the culmination to that friction those two create is in your 6th house with Uranus in Aries. And this is interesting because the way you communicate and this healing thing that has entered your life, all of those things combined will really work to transform your life. And that's the biggest theme so far. Transformation and renewed energy in terms of your day-to-day routine. So what I said about earlier is whether you write a book or whether you change the way you speak or whether you start to decide to heal people or whether you use healing words. Something is opening up for you at the beginning of October that really gives you an opportunity to change your day-to-day in and out life if you choose to follow one of these paths that make themselves apparent to you. Pluto trines your midheaven, your Jupiter and your Mars on the 6th of October. And that's really a repetition and an emphasis on what I mentioned before, that by being practical and by taking charge of making a decision around the way you communicate, you can achieve something very, very tangible and very practical. So it can even be going to speak to the boss about a promotion, or making a good decision that saves the business money, or deciding to speak to your grandkids in a certain way that changes your relationship. Whatever that is, you've got the power to change your communication to make your life improve. On the 7th, the moon starts to trine Uranus. And both of those are at the very edge of the chart. There's nothing going on between them, and it's almost like they're coming together. Uranus is that alteration to your daily life, and the moon there is in your 10th house of career. So everything I'm seeing so far, Scorpio, at the beginning of October here for you, is that everything is kind of conspiring to give you some new options for the way you live your life on a day-to-day basis. I don't see moving so much, but I see a change of approach, and I see you taking different actions, and that creates real changes in the way your life looks. So whether the changes are implemented straight away or whether you just get the opportunity, have a look at what's available to you, because I think there's a lot. So if you're totally sick of your life the way it is, if you hate the structure of your day-to-day life, if you don't like the town you live in, if you don't like the job you do, if you don't like the people that are around you, well, first of all, work on that, because if you hate all of those things, that comes from within. So it means that even if you make changes, you'll end up despising the new circumstances as well. But if there is one or two things that genuinely are not good, and you want to change them, then have a look around the beginning of October, because there'll be scope to make alterations. Venus goes into Virgo from Leo on the 9th, and that moves into your 11th house of hopes and dreams. That's a big theme here for you this month. That 11th house of hopes and dreams, and also social connections, and the 12th house of spirituality, those are really highlighted for you in October, Scorpio. Okay, so it's about how can I align myself with spirit to help others to achieve my own dreams and my own goals. That's the question. So when Venus goes into Virgo, the goddess of love becomes very organized, and she becomes very practical. So you will find that doing something tangible, practical, gives you a real sense of pleasure, so apply yourself. Mercury also comes out of retrograde on this day, so communication in general will be easier, but also communication with spirit and hearing the messages you're meant to hear. Venus starts to form a relationship with Uranus, again on the other side of the chart in a sesqui square, and it kind of bridges that gap of that emptiness. And it feels almost like there is something empty in your life that needs to be filled. And think of your soul, and this is everybody's, not just you, Scorpio, but think of your soul as a donut, okay? round with a hole in the middle. We all have that kind of soul. We need something to fill it. Some people fill it with alcohol, some people fill it with sex, some people fill it with power. But the only way to fill that hole is with a spiritual connection, because the spiritual connection makes you feel complete, and also it guides your life so it's meaningful. And you've got that big gap that you're trying to bridge here, and it's saying change your life. You're not satisfied. There's something, we're giving you these opportunities because you're not happy with the way things are. You feel empty in some ways, and you want to bridge that. And you're not going to bridge it with a relationship or with power or with education, having another degree so you feel good, or with having the job that pays a gazillion dollars. I'm exaggerating, of course, but that pays an obscene amount, which makes you feel like you're worth something. Those aren't the answers. The answers are: make your life more meaningful by changing the day-to-day reality of it to something that suits you. That's there until the 14th, so you're really going to feel that quite strongly over those 4 days, so you're going to be quite reflective. There's also a T-square that happens at the same time. The Sun and Uranus are sitting there, and they peak at the... Right, so talk about these things. Talk about these issues. Talk about these things, the desire to change. Put your, put your feelers out and see what other people think of that. Maybe they'll offer you some insights and opportunities that you didn't think of yourself. The new moon happens in Libra on the 13th, and this is a new beginning. And this is creating more harmony in your life and deciding on this day what you're going to do and really get going. The new moon is always a period when you can pour energy into something to make it a reality, to create it in your life. It's in Libra, which is the sign of harmony and good relationships with other people. It's sitting right on top of your Ascendant, so Scorpio, so you're going to be feeling that. How can I align myself with others? How can I align myself with spirit? How can I make my life the best version it can be and be helpful in the process? So sit down for a brief meditation on this day and just ask yourself, how can I achieve that? Do I want to achieve it? Do I want my life to keep going as it is, or do I want to make any changes? I think you'll find that you'll get some good ideas on this day around that as well. So also what's been happening is that Neptune has opposed Jupiter since the 16th of August, and it stops doing that today. And Neptune has been in your 5th and Jupiter has been in your 11th, and there's been almost a dream of if I make everything okay now, I'll change the past, I'll heal the past. If I'm really successful now, the rejections and the failures of the past won't hurt so much. And that's been with you, that energy, and that's a natural thing. We all try and do that, but that starts to fade away a little bit, and you start to get the answer that you don't need to alter the past to feel okay in the now. You can just relax into yourself, connect with spirit, and feel that sense of completion and value and worth that you're looking for with all of these activities. So the penny will kind of drop, and you'll realize that you're perfect just the way you are already. You don't have to strive for anything. Okay, on the 17th, the moon starts to trine Uranus, and the business idea comes in now. The business idea is energized and supercharged and becomes a solid reality in your life, and you have a really clear picture of what you're going to be doing. Use your energy and your power to channel it into that. The idea you have on the 17th, do it. Whether it's in a month or in a week, or whether you can actually do it today, do it, because it will make you money, it will create more financial security and structure in your life. And that's emphasized by the next day, because Jupiter starts to connect with your moon and brings that element of good luck and good fortune in. So whatever you put into place in a business sense will be blessed and will have a positive outcome, not just to create financial security, but to do something that's aligned with your life purpose, with your true purpose. Because people ask me about life purpose, and usually they mean job. What am I supposed to be doing? But life purpose is what's... I think fundamentally it has to be understood that we're all meant to be working at something. We all have something to offer. And if you think of work as that as an offering, then we all should work. Okay, because we all have something unique and special. And I think the idea around the 17th and 18th that you get will be a reflection of your true treasures that you have inside already and how to express those in the outside world. On the 19th and 20th, the moon starts to conjunct with Pluto in your 3rd house. And I really feel like your words will be almost spoken for you. I think the new message will kind of come through you automatically. So write it down or speak it or record it, but do a lot of talking around the 19th and 20th, because I think you'll have some good stuff to say and you'll be like, well, where did that come from? And it will have to do with your life purpose, career, work path. So maybe that you're, unwittingly channeling something. Who knows? But I really feel that you'll be very comfortable in this rebirth process, that if you make yourself available for it, it'll just flow through you and you'll love what you hear. On the 23rd, and you may have jumped the gun a little bit with this, but on the 23rd, the Sun starts to trine Neptune. And Neptune is the water planet, the planet of dreams, the planet of the unmanifest, of spirits, of the other side. And when it connects with the Sun, it opens up a channel to the other side. It opens up your intuitive gifts. Now, this connection is from the 23rd of October, and it lasts until the 6th of November. So during that time, you'll notice that your intuition is heightened, your intuition is increased. So if you are someone who's been on a search, if you have been asking your guides and your angels and God, saying, please direct me, please show me a sign, please give me a message to tell me what I should do next, then really listen out over these 2 weeks, because it'll come. It'll come more clearly and in a way that's easier to understand. Also, if you're someone who works in the intuitive arts as a medium or a psychic or as a healer, then you'll notice that your gifts are also strengthened over this time period. On the 25th, the moon connects with Saturn, and your Saturn is in your 2nd house, and your moon is in your 6th. So this is work and money. The path is now clear, the road has become apparent, the path of happy destiny is available to you, and I think you've started the walk. I think you feel very comfortable, and I think you feel very energized, and I feel like all of this work that you've done over this month is combined and come together to give you a sense of certainty in terms of what's coming up in future. So you're going to feel on fire, you're going to feel like there is meaning in your life, you're going to feel like what you're doing is right and is meant, and I really think the penny drops for you in many ways in October, and that's very encouraging, that's amazing. And just before your birthday as well, or starting now with your birthday around this time. So the 27th is a full moon, and that's in Taurus. And the full moon for you, first of all, the full moon is a harvest, it's a fulfillment, it's a coming to fruition, coming to term. But this full moon sits right on top of your descendant, and your descendant is what you're looking for in life. And the fact that the full moon happens right there, if you think of that, that's where the sun sets, that's where your full moon is happening. The other, you're going to get what you're looking for this month, and it will be in a practical way. So if you start October totally like, what the hell am I doing? I have no idea. You're going to end the month with a real clear vision of this is what I'm doing next, and this is the path and the direction I'm walking in. That's amazing, because the biggest problem for most people is finding what they're supposed to be doing. If they actually know, and I think those are the blessed people, the people you go to school with at 7, they know they're going to be a vet, and then they actually do it. They're blessed because all of that doubt, all of that wasted energy just isn't there. And I really think you get that certainty here. The 28th is a grand trine in Earth, an area of real talent. This is a good day to take action on the kind of insights you get on the 27th. And then Halloween, the 31st of October, there's another grand trine in the sky, and that's in water. So your intuition is already supercharged with that Neptune-Sun connection, but Halloween in itself, the veil is very thin and you can get messages clearly. With a grand trine in water as well, that heightens the... It's like, if you think of it like a mist, it's like Spirit can almost use that to bring messages through clearer. So there's a kind of astral, spiritual mist hanging around, which facilitates communication. So this Halloween is going to be hugely significant in terms of messages coming through. I think it's going to be a paranormal delight. Yeah, and I think it'll be really, really strong this year. So that's it in terms of the reading. If you would like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to see the types of readings that I do offer, and please remember to subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful October, and I'll speak to you soon.